Just I have a question before I start. I'm working on Dragonbox for 3 years, so maybe many of you know Dragonbox algebra. So I wanted to know if I have to present Dragonbox algebra or not. So is there people who don't know at all Dragonbox algebra? Okay, so I will start by presenting it. Okay, so I'm Patrick Marchal. I created the We Want to Know 4 years ago now. And basic idea. Basic idea when I started this company was okay. I was in the game industry for 10 years, and there is always this question when you're in the game industry: what is fun? What is playing? Why is a game fun, and why is another game not fun? And one of the answer is to say that, like Gamelier from the game designer of Civilization, said a good game is a series of interesting choices. Or Ralph Coaster, it's a game designer who wrote the book Theory of Fun. Fun arises from trying to understand the pattern of a game. So it means that when you are playing, you really try to understand what's happening, and you try a lot to beat the game. And so there is a lot of mental processes involved in playing. And I wanted to say, okay, if playing is trying to understand something, it's a bit like learning. So is it possible to use it and to use it for school and to teach through learning, through playing? So basic formula we had that we want to know is we have a system. It's a mathematics system, but it can be something else. And we create a view of the system that we can move, we can manipulate, and that's it. We just add learning curve. We give some information and more information and more information, like all game designers do. And okay, people will just understand this system, and they will have fun understanding this system. Just understanding is fun. That's the basic idea where we were going. So from there, we created the 2 games, and we also created a challenge we call Algebra Challenge. So I will show you Dragonbox Algebra, Dragonbox Elements, which is geometry, and the Algebra Challenge. Sorry. So in the Dragonbox, we have the goal of the game. There is a box inside the game, and your goal is that the box is alone. And if the box is alone, the dragon in the box will go there. And when you play, this is the start of the game. The finger is the tutorial of the game, and we see the mouse the people play. And I will just show 3, 4, 5 there. So it's a puzzle game, and every time you have to find a way to let the box alone. And you learn different types of possibilities. And when you win, the little dragon evolves inside the box. So you don't see the map now. I don't think so. And now you maybe start to see the map. Now there is two sides, and you have only to put the box alone on one side. I will just, it will be a bit long, so I'll stop here. So here we are at the beginning of the game. So you have to put this card and remove the card on both sides, and so on. And after a while, some cards are replaced by letters. And after a while, the box can be replaced by an X. And the position of the card can change. And you can introduce the operation, the maths, the equal signs and math signs. And at the end of the game, it can be like this. And what is interesting is that even young children can still play and still be in the process of saving the dragon when they are in front of this. So we have many people who send, we have a YouTube channel where people recorded their children, and they said, wow, that's fantastic, because my son is 5 years old and he's doing it. So I was first with Dragon Box Java, because many people know it. So I will do a bit longer on Dragon Box Java. So we worked 2 years on Dragon Box Java. First years we created the Dragon Box Java 5+, and then another years to do other stuff we wanted to do, and there are still a lot of things. But now last year we changed, and the idea was to say, is it possible, what we have done on Java, is it possible to do it on other parts of mathematics? And we tried different things. Now we think it's possible, but we did it on geometry. And we choose not geometry. In fact, it's on logic. What we are doing in Dragon Box Elements is teaching how to do proof in geometry. So this is one of our first prototypes. Mainly it's a graphic prototype. It's not a game. It's just it's a fake interface. And we see here how we restarted. Here there is sorry. Okay, here there is a triangle between two circles, and on the left side there are some theorems you can use. So the first theorem is that all the radius of a circle have the same side. So when you use it, you have to say on which circle you do it, and all the circle, all the radius have a snake on it with the same color, saying all these snakes are the same side. So you have to do it on the other one, and to say that now they all have the same side. And this is the definition of equilateral triangle. The equilateral triangle has 3 sides of same size. So you can put it now. So the step that you have to do in this game are exactly the step you have to do in the proof, in the mathematical proof. to prove that this triangle is equilateral. So that was the start of elements. I will show you the game inside the Unity. So we are working in Unity with Unity in C#. So I'm sorry, there is some debug stuff. So here it's cheating mode, so we see all the tower, but at the beginning of the game we only see the low part of the tower, and we know that we have to go to the top. So that's the long-term goal of the player. In the first chapter, we are just learning to find triangles, so it's for very young kids. And the guys there is saying, I'm looking for 2 triangles in this drawing, so I have to find it for him. So it goes like this. So I will go a little further. So it can be a little more complex. Many people do that, for example. But no, it's only triangle. And then we introduce quadrilateral. I don't know in English. So that's one of the difficulty of the game. It's at the beginning, it's really just detecting some drawings inside the geometric drawings, and the real math comes a little later. I will show you. Here we have now this notion of lengths which are equal. For example, for this triangle, he has 2 lengths of same size, so he's a triangle with 2 holes because he's equilateral. No, sorry, it's isosceles. So now we are introduced for the player this isosceles. So sometimes difficult to find. Many people try to do this, but it's not the same size. And then we introduce equilateral. And 3 holes. And now comes, sorry, we should find it. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. Okay, so here come the rules, the theorem we introduced at the beginning. This is different. There is no more theorem on the left side of the screen. Now it's always on the drawings. So when you have this, you have to remember, oh, I can do something with this circle. I can do that, and now I can do that. And now, I can find the steps. So this is the first proof I had to do. This is a theorem in mathematics. All the triangles in the circle are isosceles. And then we go on with that. I will go a little further. So it's only the first chapter 2. And now we'll go. We introduce angles. We have rules like angles are the same on both sides. Okay, this is also interesting. Now it's really good. So you see, and I will go faster. Then there is losange. I don't remember in English. And, we introduce parallel. So now this guy is between 4 parallels. So he's parallelogram. And always at the beginning it's easy, but at the end of the chapter you have to accumulate all the rules you learned to find everything. For example, okay, this is the 2 horns. Okay, it's a 2 horns, so he has 2 angles. Okay, on this line there is 2 angles same, so they are parallel. On this line, they are parallel. Okay, I found what I was looking for. And so on. At the end, I will just show you the end. I'm sorry, it's difficult with touchpad. Okay, my goal is to find the square inside this drawing. Sorry, it's here. It's quite very long to get it, but something that's 30 move, and you have to go like this. And I won't do it because it's quite long. And it's interesting because we are doing math problems that are far more difficult than what we can do on a paper. Because it's, I don't know, it's 50 pages I don't know, to explain all your moves you are doing. So this is Dragon Box Elements, and we release it in May, last May. In fact, we release the game each May for 3 years now. And it's a little, it's not, doesn't sell as much as Dragon Box Algebra. I think one of the reasons is that for Dragon Box Algebra, people are really amazed to see their children doing equation in maybe half an hour, 1 hour. They see young children doing equations, and so they speak of it. And in geometry, they don't understand. The parents don't understand that their children are doing proof. They understand that they're doing geometry, but it's like Dora. So they're doing, they are square and so on. They don't understand how far is it in mathematics. And another thing we are doing for 1 year and a half now, it's what we call Algebra Challenge. the idea that we give the game to school and for 1 week, and during the week, all the school they have a challenge to beat as much equation as possible. And I have a video for that. We are working with the Center for Game Sciences, and they have recorded a good video I will show you. It's a bit long. Do you hear?
We created a game called Dragon Box.
I think we can put it on the
We
speaker.
call it Depth because the game is capable
Do you want to try?
of every specific part.
School kid or a senior in high school, and presenting algebra in a very specific, unique way to every child such that they learn in the fastest, most effective way.
Find that to eat popcorn.
Fun and learning, I feel like they should go together.
I know fractions, decimals, addition, subtraction, multiplication, algebra.
First time with algebra.
I know algebra.
It's a pretty fun game. You can learn algebra pretty fast. One of the most amazing things in Washington State Algebra Challenge is that if you look at the spectrum of all kids, 93% of them were able to reach 100% mastery on this algebra concept. What's even more amazing is that this was the case for anybody who spent an hour and a half or more on this game.
When we started off, I had several students that said, algebra? I can't do algebra. And I said, no, it's a game. And once they started, they didn't want to start.
I don't really like math that much, but if it's a math game, then I'm fine with it.
I like the game concept. I think it's much more engaging than just, your straight up variables on a page.
The zeros are blocking it, so I'm going to keep making squares, and turning to stay in the exact numbers.
We launched it with the 6th graders and the 7th graders, and they were impressed. They had a ton of fun. We actually worked through first period, missed the bell, and all our kids were late for second period. Not one student looked up and said, "My second period class is over, we have to go." Not one student, which was phenomenal.
They're growing up in a generation where everything's a video game, everything's like quick.
There are more than just letters and numbers. They're like animals and monsters and stuff.
It has like little cartoon characters. It's easier to visualize it because looking at the numbers, it makes everything seem so much harder. But when you look at the pictures and put them together, it makes more sense.
It makes it fun, but it's also doing schoolwork. My favorite subject in school is math.
You get them excited about this. We introduced it as a statewide challenge and that they were a part of something really large and really exciting. It creates a positive outlook on math. It creates success around areas that they traditionally have not been successful in. And it really it brought some of our students to the next level with their own personal confidence. And that's what I've seen change the most, is the want to do more math.
The overarching goal of algebra challenges across many states and countries is to find a completely new pathway towards not just achieving mastery, but engagement of wide populations of students around a particular topic of learning. What this means is that we're not just specializing the curriculum for every kid to reach mastery in a different way, but we're specializing such that they're engaged in different ways towards the general goal of really being intrigued and excited about the things that they're learning. This means that we're not just changing the kinds of problems that they get, but what kind of things will get them more excited over time, such that in a very short amount of time, they can reach this really amazing levels of mastery on the concept. Several months.
This algebra challenge was organized in Washington State, in Seattle, and there were 5,000 players. And after that, we also had this challenge in Norway, because we are working, we are a French-Norwegian company. And this is the Prime Minister of Norway, the lady here. And it was a huge success because there was 36,000 players, which was a big for 5 million inhabitants. And so it was a really huge event in Norway. And they were really enthusiastic. There was a goal. They could win an iPad for the school, and so they were really trying to beat the score. And they solved the 8 million equation, which is 200 equations they play more than 200. And what they call mastery, Game Center of Center for Game Science, is to be able to go to the end of the game. So to go to the end of the game, you solve a linear equation. So it's not complete algebra, it's a simple algebra, but the numbers are very big. And what is interesting is to see what happens next. Do they really learn algebra? And I really love this video. So this video was shot last year, just at the end of the Norwegian Algebra Challenge. And here is my colleague Jean-Baptiste, who is a math teacher in Oslo. And he put it on the board. And he just played the algebra. Challenge. They don't know what in fact, they haven't do it in class before. And what Jean-Baptiste did is to recreate the board of the game.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So the more. Okay.
Once they have seen it, check.
So that is 2 X. This minus that, and minus that. Og så må vi fjerne dette. Det blir null. Så 2 ganger x pluss, ja,
Så kan si hva det er da.
Og så tar vi 2 ganger x delt på 2. Er det? Ja, for du tenker på ja, ja. Delt på 2.
What's really interesting here is to see that there's different things. First, there is this thing that when you have learned something in a game, you don't know how to put it on the board or on the paper. So that's different. It's not very different, but it's that different. So yeah. And but once they have done that, when we ask another question, they don't need anymore the boxes. And the other thing is the help between the pupils. It's very important. And with the challenge, as the challenge is a competition, then competition between classrooms. So all the classes has to win. they all help each other and discuss, and it's very important because when they are playing, they are in the flow of the game, they try things, it's trial and error, but when they are blocked, they can discuss and they can verbalize everything, and they say, oh, okay, you know that, and it's another way. It's very important to recall, to remember all the rules of. So you have seen all what we have done in 3 years in We Want to Know, and now we are working on a project. I didn't take many things. It's on numbers, the sense of numbers, and addition and multiplication. We are targeting younger players because we have seen that there is no market for players age 12. They don't want to buy something which is mathematics, and the parents cannot afford them to buy something like that. And but we have many people who said they have put Dragon Box Algebra, and for 5 years old, 6 years old, and we never targeted this game for this. That's it. So now we are in another part of the presentation, but maybe as you want, it can be more. I prepared some things because we ask what you want to know, and I have some principles about what we have done, how to do such things, how to do such games. But I don't know, maybe you have things you want to know, because I don't like to give some principle. I don't feel like it, but I don't know. If you have any question now, you can start, or I go on.
I have a question. So for now, you are focusing on games which teach math.
Yeah.
Is it something you want to explore to make games, maybe to teach foreign languages or French or things like that over studies than just math?
Yeah. At the beginning, I was working on games on physics, and now we are studying the idea of a game on learning to read. Learning to read. Okay. And because as we are targeting young children, maybe it's very important for them. So, but it's more difficult. So we feel we are less experts of the domain, so it's more difficult to do it. So this year we are working on numbers, but we worked a little on reading. And my point of view is that I think what we are doing is some part of the future of education, and that we will find such products in every domain. In fact.
How did you evaluate how fast each level would develop? So how fast the difficulty would advance, and how did you test them?
There is two responses for that. There is our response that we want to know, and there is a response of the Center for Game Science. We want to know, we have done this. We test a lot. And we try to remove all the difficulties. And we test, and we see a difficulty, we try to remove it, and so on. But not the complete answer. And at the game, the Center for Game Science, the objective is to create adaptive games. And so they record what are doing each player. And if the player has some difficulties, they give they give a level with less difficulties and they adapt to the players. And not only they adapt to the players, but they also adapt. They learn from each player. They see what is difficult or what is not difficult in the game, and they adapt the difficulty of the game. And that's their center of interest. So they took our game as the medium for their own system. And I think that's a good answer. But as we are creating the game, it's very difficult to do the two at the same time. So we tried to do it for Dragon Box Elements, for example, but it was just too difficult to do, to invent everything inside the game, to see how we can see geometry, and then at the same time to adapt.
And so for the testing, did you observe how they performed, or did you really log the data? So, for example, how long they took on each level, exact time?
Yeah, we do it, but the difficulty is that we are resetting the game a lot, so we don't have massive data. We often you just test with a few people and you already have what you need to work the next week. Yeah. And we change the game so rapidly that the data from 1 month ago are just not worse. So, yeah.
What is your process of unification? So how do you like start from a topic and manage to make it nice and understandable?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bit vague question.
No, it's an interesting question. The first thing that in our domain, in mathematics, we try to see to do a visualization of every concept needed. For example, the length of the segment is a snake, or it's something you can see. So you can see it, you can move it, you can do something with it. So that's very important to see all the concepts and see, okay, can I do something that so that it's visible? And the other thing is that from that point you can start with this material, and you can create. We create not a game, but manipulative. Something you can move with it, like you know, maybe you know GeoGebra or something like that in geometry. You can move all the stuff to do some proof. Okay, it's not a game. And then we start the process of say, okay, how we can make it a game. So I said at the beginning, okay, to make a game, it will come because people will be interested. That's not true. I think there is something lacking. If people will be interested if there is emotions. And we see many people who don't like our game because they don't grab the game, they don't grab the goal of the game, They don't see it. It's a, and children go, and they need everybody needs to be attracted and to say, oh, I want to do it. And many guys like things like power stuff. They want to see the power. Will I be more powerful? Will I be the best inside the game? So it's not a fighting game, and they won't see it. So the power is very important in terms of, I say, emotion. It's like collecting money, collecting stuff, or fighting. And we are working on another emotion, I say kawaii. And it's this guy. And it's quite, I think it's why we attract little children. We have a graphist to do things like that. And I really see little children when you see these little guys coming at the beginning, and that's it. They're taken for a long time. And so, but it's a very difficult part because it's very difficult to put something at the goal which is not too far from the game itself. You have seen elements. There is a story, and you have to fight a dragon, and to fight a dragon, you have to find this little I don't know, these little things inside the game. But I'm not sure everybody gets this this story, and it's very difficult.
It's a bit like enigmas, like you have some games of geometry and math that you have to solve the enigma and get to the next level, and I feel it's a bit the same. So I guess people that like enigmas and
yeah, but not everybody likes it. I think some people like puzzle game, but not all people like puzzle game. I think it's a very cultural thing.
It's difficult to please everybody also.
Yeah, but that's a difficulty. Sometimes we call ourselves digital dividers, because our games go to a family with iPad and with parents saying, "Oh, we can play together," and it will work. But if they don't have it, if they don't have some parents coming and say we play together, or at least giving them the game and saying it won't work. So we don't like this situation, and we try to go away from the puzzle game, because I think puzzle games, especially a game that will work in such culture.
It's available only on iPad. Not on
iPad and Android. Yeah. And, on Android, it's different culture than I do. People don't want to play. I don't.
Are you? Did you make enough money from the Dragon Box algebra to pay for the next games?
Yeah. So in 3 years, we are pushing 1 million euros. But as we are more than 10 now, it's not enough. That's quite big for educative games. And so if we wanted, we could be less and play with the game. But we don't know how long it will last. And the game, we're still selling the first game, Dragon Box Algebra 5+, and it still sells better than Elements. So.
How do you market such a game?
There is not many solutions. The only solution which is not too expensive is public relation, press relation, and when we see the cell, I don't know if you can see. It's very interesting to see the cell curves. Yeah, just past one minute. You see the spikes, and the spikes are always some newspaper or web site and something like that. And we have we don't sell 0 when there is no newspaper, but at the beginning it was like this. It was really spike when there was a newspaper. Sometimes it could go very, very, very.
I'm sorry because I'm late, but could you just comment by saying if it is a free-to-play game or a premium game?
No, it's rather expensive for a game. It's it depends. We try. I think it's €5 for Dragon Box 5 Plus, €8 for Dragon Box 12 Plus, and €5 for Dragon Box Geometry.
With free demos or not really?
There is a free demo of Dragon Box 12 Plus, but it doesn't sell much less than the paid version. Yeah, because I think people buy this only if they have seen someone telling them, okay, it's good. And you know, there is it's very difficult to sell this. If we do some advertisement, for example, there are so many people saying, wow, we have a very fun game which teaches mathematics. Your kid will love mathematics with this game, and it's only crap. So it's very difficult to be different, to be seen different, and only a third party can say, I have tested this game and it's good, and people will believe. And the other difficulty is that we sell at €5, and it's not like PC game, which are sold at €50, for example. So when you take time to sell it, I've seen it. I was at Pi Games Week. We had a stand, a box, and I was selling it, and some people bought it, but when you count, when you need 10 minutes or 15 minutes to sell for €5, it's not. Yeah,
I just have one more question on this. So I understand that for kids, an iPad makes a lot of sense, but for adults, is it still a really good? Is it still better than doing like for a PC or something like that, or for the web? I guess for the web you couldn't sell it, right?
You mean in terms of marketing?
Well, I saw during the video.
Yeah.
They were all on computers.
Oh yeah, it's for the schools.
It's for the schools. It's on.
Yeah, because schools don't have iPad.
Right.
Yeah.
So right. And have you found it? Have you been able to sell to schools? Is that also something?
Yes, we're starting to sell to school last year in Norway, and it's by now it's something like 10% of our revenues. And the same, it's quite difficult to sell. Norway is specifically open-minded people, and we are trying to do it in France. It's difficult, and even in the US, it's difficult. But we are in the US, for example, there is a company who bought Dragon Box Elements, and we will sell it to school first. So we have different possibilities. And this company is selling games for schools. It's not. Usually they sell educative stuff and sometimes some games. For this company, it's only games. So it's coming. The culture of games for schools is coming.
And have you explored such games, but targeting adults. Also, do the mechanism also work for adults?
It's my dream to do that. I want to do some games not for adults but for students on mathematics or on physics. But we have to choose. We have to choose. We don't have the possibility to do everything. But I really want to, and I really think it will be very useful. Very useful because there are many parts of mathematics and physics which are very difficult to understand if you don't have the good visualization. I'm really sure we can give some. But it's not easy. It's not easy to think. You know, for example, all the kids have to learn maths. All the kids have to learn algebra. And how many people have to learn, I don't know, the physics of whatever, it's really 10%, 5%, 2%, we need this. So it's not easy.
I'm also asking for people that they all learn algebra, but maybe some people have problems to learn it and know that they are adults and they maybe want to learn it again, but don't manage to.
We have done some tests in video game schools here in Paris. It was 20 years old young people, and it was very interesting because in the test, one of the guys who performed the best, who went to the end of the game alone, working, playing. Sorry, and he was really impressed because he always was very bad at maths, and he discovered that at 20 that he could have been better, and it was really emotional. And so I think it's good for adults too, because many people like puzzle games, and I showed you. We have many people saying it's very good and so on the App Store, and some are from adults. And often we see things like, oh, I tried this. I bought it for my son, but I played it because it's so good. And so it's possible, but it's not a market. It's very difficult because I think we are creating the market. We are creating a new way of learning, and people are not convinced. And it's very difficult to convince people.
Do you think it could be possible to link it more to schools so that it's actually at one point part of the schedule?
Yeah,
and even a homework. So next homework is play level 5 to 10.
Yeah, that's our goal, but it's people, you know, you will see people are not convinced, and moreover, in school, some people will think that we are fighting against teachers. You know, they feel se sentent agressés. So we have to fight, and it will take time.
Yeah, it's connection with the role of the teacher in the learning process. And I was wondering if you have looked into how kids are transferring the skills into some real life situation. You showed a video where they were asked to transfer to the board, and then there is transferring to some broader contexts.
So I would say that we didn't answer to this part of the algebra. We are still thinking of creating a game on problem solving. That's what we call. You give a problem and people create the equation before solving the problem. And we don't say we have beaten all algebra and all the math, because we have many more things in mathematics. And some people are saying that we are done teaching algebra because we don't explain the rules. It's like a monkey learning, because they just repeat the rules. And that's true. That's a good point, but I don't think it's a complete problem, because in my point of view, to learn algebra, you have to learn the rules, you have to learn how to use it, you have to learn how to transform a program in rules, and everything will connect at the end, but you have to do it in some ways. But that's the point.
And so you observe,
did
you observe, because you are doing a tour,
yeah.
Kids are reading the tour, maybe they don't from the beginning understand what the tool is for, but you see them going further than just,
no, they won't understand by themselves what they are doing. They won't understand the theory of algebra and that by playing the game. But what people say, especially after the algebra challenge in Norway, it was the teacher in biology and teachers in physics that were the most happy, because the kids were not afraid anymore of mathematics. And they said that it is difficult for them to teach their parts, because kids, every time mathematics coming inside the physics or inside the biology, kids are, and then this is after the algebra, it was easier for them to really put mathematics inside their courses. So they are the guys who are doing the problem, the link between problem and mathematics. That's easier.
So would you say then that ultimately the game is teaching you how to do something intuitively, but not formally? Is that something you could say, or no?
Yeah. I mean, you can think that I will teach you algebra from the beginning. I will say, okay, we only do things that we understand, that we prove or gradually. And some people think we should do that like that. Okay? Many people. But in fact, in math, when you learn derivatives, for example, it was something like not really proven. It's you should do that, and you will understand it later. And I think it's often like that. And the fact that the children use something before really understanding, I don't see it as something wrong. I see it as something that will help them, because they say, okay, so I know that we can do that. Okay, they don't know why, but they enjoyed it, so it's okay. The problem is for the teachers that if they don't know why and they don't enjoy it, they will just put it away. But if you can get them, say, okay, you learn something, okay, it's fun, learn something else, it's fun, and then at the end you say, okay, all this is linked, okay, I understand. And me as a mathematician, I often did it in my years. Oh, because I was teaching to younger, and 3 years after, I was teaching to young kids, and in my head I was, oh, I understand now. You know?
Yeah.
And I think it's for everybody.
I just have one more question. When you think back about the game, so I imagine that was it the game just came out exactly as you would have imagined, or was it lots of you tried this thing, you tried that thing, and you kept adapting? I guess my question is, I guess my question is, are there other ways that you? Well, I guess we will talk about
yeah, I will prepared this. This is one thing that I told the old uncle. It's an idea is worth 1, and the prototype is worth 10, and the product was 100. And if you can sell it and can get money with it, it's worth 1,000. And I think it's really true. Many people have many ideas every day, so we are full of ideas. And if you want to know, every year, from now it's not so long ago, but on the summer, we spend 2 or 3 months doing only prototyping. 2, 5, 6, 7 games, prototypes during the summer. And after that, we select one that goes to the product. And we are somewhere product and sell it because we don't sell that much, but not enough because it's very expensive on game. 1 year, all the teams get expensive. But many prototypes, it's very, very important. Yeah. Because and test IDs and feel things. Yeah.
And how do you explain? Sorry, I'm asking because you're on game developer for years. How do you explain that? Also, educative games exist for many dozens of years, but almost none. So at least for me, I don't know any other games that use this approach.
Yeah.
Why is that so?
It's really easy to. I see my work as on rasoir. La lame du rasoir. You know, it's very difficult to not to fall on the. I want you to understand this, so I put some text and I put some things to you to understand that. It's very difficult to not do that, and it's also very difficult to not put some funny stuff inside the game that are not connected to the main gameplay and the main interesting things. And you have you have really to start from the idea that learning is fun, and I will teach you something and you will like it. And if we didn't have this feeling, we won't have done the good. Because when you create the product, you always want to put some funny stuff, and you have always people coming, your graphist or your programmers, and coming, oh, I will put this and put this, and then after a while you say that's it's not connected to the game, so you have to put it out. Yeah. And you know, like it's not just illustration; it's inside the game, you know, put some mechanism inside because it's just fun. And so all the game you see, any game you see, either they are really fun games, but you don't learn things. Either they want you to learn things and they put text and they put things like that, and the game motion disappears. And especially text is very used in educative games, and that's another one.
I want to go back to the school question because if you introduce new stuff into schoolwork, like group work or something, sometimes you have the feeling that it absorbs lots of time and doesn't have too much. How do you think about games introduced into schools?
Just repose them.
So do you think it will really help in schools, or do you think it will take a very long time to use the tools, to use the games, but the outcome is not that much? So if you compare the game approach to a blackboard approach, teachers just standing there doing exercises.
In Norway, they have done more than 200 equations per player in a week. So compare to what a math teacher can do. And they didn't play all the week. They played, and they said that 40% of the work of the equation were done in their own. And I don't see a teacher saying you will do 80 equations this Wednesday. So I think it's really powerful tool. You know, they are really in a few hours. They are ready. Let's see a video. Just 1 second. So it's a video done by a fan.
Having fun?
Yeah.
I like the year. We don't. I don't think all the 4-year-old kids do that, but
you're really good at this.
No. So that's someone who sent it this video on YouTube. I think you can achieve as a teacher this type of. In fact, there is one objective measure. I don't know. So, but there is feedback. When you play on this game or the games, you have immediate feedback. Okay, you're wrong. Okay, you're good. Go on. You're wrong. You're good. Go on. And that's it. That's the reason. No. What is doing a teacher? Okay, tomorrow you do that, and then the children work on their homework if they do it, and the next day, okay, this is good. It's I don't know, 100,000 times slower. Yeah, so that's the difference. So if you can keep them in the flow, if you can keep the players in the mood, you're so faster than a teacher. Yeah.
Do you know level design by the players?
Not yet. I always want to do it, and I think it's very important for teachers to have it. And so we plan to do it, but for many reasons, we didn't have time to do it yet.
You think it's important that teachers design levels, or that?
Yeah, for them to think they can do it. That's very important. After that, maybe they won't use it that much, but it's important for them to have the feeling they can do it.
Yeah, because I would have thought it would even it would be even more useful.
Yeah,
so the players were
for the players too.
Because designing a level requires to fully understand what is hard, what are to put on which point you want to.
I think for the pupils, if they have maths homework, they could use it to answer. They could put the equation on the game and try to resolve it in the game, and then on the paper. It would be good, better than not doing the homework.
One thing I noticed is, and I think that's correct, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you can't really make a mistake in these games. Right? You can only go forward. Is that wrong? Like, for example, in the algebra, there would only be the letters or numbers that you need. There's nothing that you don't need.
Yeah.
And you can't. Can you make a mistake?
Yeah, you can get lost. We forced the player to when they put a card on one side, they are obliged to put it on the other side. And we forced it because it's so difficult for players to do that. And we have to remind them, 50 times, 100 times, I don't know, so much, before they say, okay, I understand. And so we let it as an obligation in all the game. But we prepared but first they can get lost. They can put too much things. They don't find the good strategy to go to the goal, and so they can lose in some way. And we are working on this possibility to have no help at all, and we are also working on no, I won't find it.
I guess I'm not.
We are working on a correction, automatic correction. There's no help, so you can be wrong, and it will say you're wrong.
I was just thinking that that's one of the big differences from real life, or doing it on paper.
Yeah.
Is that on paper you can make a mistake and you don't know?
Yeah.
Well, here not only you have the feedback, but you actually can't make too many errors. I mean, there's some errors you can't make.
Actually, there are levels and traps. If you see a kid playing in the first chapter in Dragon Ball Class, for example, the kid gets to level 1 through 10 of that first chapter, super easy, okay, and sometimes they struggle, but it's really not much. Get to 111, one challenge, so it's like, what the hell is this? Because they've just been taught how to simplify, so they're going to want to not only isolate the box X, but also to put stuff on the other side. And all of a sudden, they're presented to the level with 7 different cards at the bottom that they can add, but they actually need to add 1. And so many kids just start adding one thing that's strong, and then it's the inflation. They just add everything. It's a big party, and they're like, what the hell? And then they have to come again, and then they get it. But there are levels that are a bit more tricky, and this forces players also to kind of think and explore a bit more, and so it's not only the mechanical monkey.
It's very interesting to see that people get stuck in repeating an action. They see that they can simplify it. For example, let's say you have C here, so you put minus C. So you remove, and now you have minus C here. Okay, I put C, and they can get stuck, and because they are in the action, they just react to what they see. And you have to wake them up and say, when you see it, you say, what is the goal? And shoop! Ah, yes! And it's very interesting, and it's very difficult for us to fight it from the programming side, you know. But we have to find how to find it. And so that's why we often say that it's good for player to be at least two in front of the game. When there are two, they won't have the same. They won't be stuck inside a track like that. And if they are stuck, the guys on the side say, "Hey, oh, pee pee," and they will talk and they will say what is good, what is not good, and it's very good for them.
So how much do they interact if they play 2x2? But so I'm thinking about the social aspect of gaming.
Yeah.
Do they? It's just everyone in front of this iPad, like this 4-year-old we've seen. He has been asked, "Do you have fun?" But he was just staring on the thing. He was barely saying yes.
Yeah, I didn't want to bother. I think I can show you that. I'm sorry. Where is it? Because it's very.
But I think it would be the fear of lots of people that they just say, "Yeah, my kid is only in front of the computer."
That's the way. That's the way they answer. Let me play. That's a difficult problem. Wow.
That's cool.
So I'm sure there are some pupils that so shy that they won't play, and I think it's better if only 2 or 3. But I think it's better when they are not alone. Yeah.
Could you imagine a cooperative, element? But you actually really have.
Yeah, we didn't find a way to create competitive games or to create a game with 2 or 3 players. We tried, but in some way, algebra it's a puzzle game, so it's difficult to find.
I mean, it could be cooperative in the way that you don't have all the things you need, but that you see the equation of somebody else and you have something for him, so you have to give this, send this to him, and he can do something there.
Yeah, it's good.
I've seen this on a language game.
Okay. Which game?
We make words.
We make words.
So it's on how to learn. It starts with Chinese signs.
Yeah.
They have different kinds of lines.
Yeah, lines. Yeah.
And you don't have all the shapes available for you, but you can send your shapes to others.
Okay. Cool. That's good. Yeah. And I'm working on the idea of a card game, and maybe it will be, I will be able to create a little different card game, and maybe you can play with several players, but it's difficult. And it's difficult to create a card game from that because there is no control anymore. So people will be can make a mistake.
People are getting hungry. Well, if there's no more questions, maybe we can stop there and we can stick around and ask questions.
Yeah, we'll be there.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. That's when the internet stops.